welcome to Paranormal Kativity. I'm going to tell you guys the story of the man from Taured. In July of 1954, a man arrives at the Tokyo airport. He's a pretty average looking Caucasian guy, has a passport with him, but the passport raises some red flags at the airport. It's from a country called Taured. No one's ever heard of this country, because this country doesn't exist. He is interrogated by the people there to try and figure out what he's actually doing there and why he has falsified papers, but they're looking at his documentation and his story of having to travel the world for his work and all of the places that he's been. Every one of those places has been stamped on his passport, like he's really traveled there. So they bust out a map and try and explain to him, who's already very confused by the situation in the first place, that there is no country of Taured. He points to an area on the map that's the Principality of Andorra, and he's never heard of it. He's like, this is where Taured is. It's been there for over 1,000 years. I've never seen this country. This is my country. It is called Taured. And everybody in the airport is so baffled by this. They're just like, I don't know what you think, man, but it's not there. So they decide that they're going to take him for the night, put him up in a hotel room, and talk to him more the next day and kind of investigate all of his belongings in the meantime. So what they do with his other belongings is they kind of just go through and make some calls, see if anything checks out. One of the things that he had was from the place where he was staying in Tokyo. They called and he'd never had a reservation there. So then they call other places that it says that he's visited or worked for or done presentations from his work at. And all of them have never heard of this man or don't exist. So he's in this hotel room for the night and he has 2 guards at the outside of the door because he might be a security risk. They don't know because they cannot figure out who this person is. So he's in the hotel room for the night. None of the leads that he gave them have panned out at all. So in the morning, the guards open his door and get ready to get him so they can bring him back to the airport for further investigation. They open the door and nothing's in there. Like nothing. Like his belongings aren't there, he's not there. He was a few stories up in the building. So they did some investigation. There was no way he could have jumped out the window without falling to his death. And there was no evidence of that. He didn't have a balcony of any kind, so there weren't any balconies there for him to climb down or anything of that nature. He was just straight up gone. Then they go to the airport to try and decipher the rest of his belongings, see if maybe there's a clue as to where he went or what happened. His stuff's gone. All of the things they confiscated from him to investigate disappeared with him. No trace, nothing. Completely gone. Now there were a couple other instances that were similar that I found. In 1851, there was a man wandering through Germany telling people that he was from Laxaria, which he said was a state on the continent of Sacria. We don't have either of those either. And then in 1905, there was a man in Paris that was caught stealing a loaf of bread. And so he was arrested and asked some questions. He said he was from Lisbia, and none of the people asking him the questions had ever heard of Lisbia. So they decided, even though he, upon questioning, had never heard of Portugal and didn't speak Portuguese, that the capital of Portugal is Lisbon, and he must have meant Lisbon as his country of origin. So that's what the documentation on that record stated, even though he very adamantly said he didn't know where that country was or anything about it, because he was from Lisbia. Super weird and interesting story. I was reminded of this while I was doing my video about disappearances that were unexplained, which if you did not get a chance to watch that, the link to that video will be down below. But it kind of also reminded me of the Green Children of Woolpit. Just kind of people appearing that have a very set idea of where they were from, but it's not a place in our reality. So let me know what you guys think, or if you've heard of any other instances similar to this. I really want to know. So hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about these. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or week or weekend, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!